Welcome to Dean Smiles, episode 34, and we are off to one of my favorite Arizona cities, Flagstaff. And during our visit, and we've talked about this, we've always wanted to do stargazing, and when I was a sixth grade science teacher, I taught and we taught astronomy, very basic intro to sixth graders, and it's always fascinated me going back to growing up on the farm where there was no light pollution, and I just took for granted being able to always see the moon and the stars and the constellations just clearly. But this time we were going to the new Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, and it was just very magical and cool. And yeah, here we go. The observatory is a short drive, 1.8 miles from downtown Flagstaff, and everything is very well marked and easy to get to. You start out going through residential, and then you work your way up above to get to the observatory, and there's a nice little place to pull off the road, and a lot of people did during our time, to overlook Flagstaff. You can see Northern Arizona University, and also you make your way to see downtown Flagstaff. It is really breathtaking and worth stepping off to the side and just taking it in, regardless of what time of the year it is. I think it's going to look cool and definitely a good place to take some photos. From that parking overlook is the main entrance, and it is a little bit further drive. You can see some people walking up there. It's very doable, but would recommend driving unless you have the time. As you get closer, you can see the Discovery Center and the grand entrance, and it's only been renovated and open for about 2 months from what we read and talked about, and it is just magical and looks very, very cool as you get closer and get to the main entrance. All of the description, details, and information will be listed below. We drove up early, and it was on a Saturday, and from what we read, there were guided tours and definitely astronomers, scientists available to answer all of my geeky questions, and just fascinating. Everybody was extremely helpful, and the smiles, oh my goodness, so many family smiles just taking it in. Once you get inside, it is full of very neat quotes and history, and there's definitely something for everybody. It is mesmerizing, and there is a kids discovery area and fun place to learn science and play, and there were so many families that just were taking this in. The 2 levels just have so many places to learn about the Lowell Observatory and astronomy, and very interactive and easy, super user-friendly and easy to use. Gavin was our astronomer that gave the introduction and later was our tour guide.
I can never remember or pronounce that one. But Percival himself, he was a very skilled mathematician. He went to Harvard University, graduated with a degree in mathematics with honors, and then after he graduated, he spent some time overseas, particularly in Korea and Japan. You can actually see him in this photo here. Sticks out like a sore thumb a little bit in this photo, but that is Percival. He really loved to learn different cultures. He wrote books talking about his journeys in Korea and Japan. He called Japan his second home. He really loved it over there. And while he was there, he also became involved. He helped set up some trade relations, became like a little diplomat in those areas as well. Very convenient rail line that cuts straight through the middle of town. He was interested in setting up the observatory here. So he got this hill and he set up shop. Now this photo here is basically the same spot where the Clark overlook is now. So by the Clark telescope you can see between the trees and see into town. Compare this photo to the photo, or to your eyes nowadays. Hauled up the hill and set up here. But the issue is that it was too big. Very large telescope. And I wish they had a photo, but very comically, they set it up in the old telescope dome that they had while they were, setting things up, and the telescope actually stuck out of the building.
Next, after the introduction and brief history in the auditorium, we made our way to the Pluto astrograph. It looks like it's a telescope, but actually it is to take photos. You can't actually see through the lens. It's only a viewfinder. On our way, our group, there were many informational things on the sidewalk, and also he pointed out you can see the light shades on there that will illuminate at night.
So there was right next to the Clark Dome was what was nicknamed the Baronial Mansion. It was the house that he stayed in when he was here.
And then we enter this cool building that the Pluto astrograph was in, working our way up a spiral staircase. And there's even a revolving roof to match the axes of the Earth, with lining it up with the astrograph, which just looked really cool. And he gave an example of how it worked also.
As there would be nowadays if we were to build this. So I'm going to have everyone just take a step away from the wall. Don't put your hands up there. Make sure you don't have hair, hats, anything like that. I'm going to be moving the dome to the right a little bit, and then I'll stop it and move it to the left a little bit. If you want to have some really fun and get real dizzy, look straight up. If that's going to freak you out, don't do that. All right, everyone ready? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, and now we'll go back a little bit to the left so you can see how it changes directions. Nice and easy. Left and right movements.
As I mentioned, Gavin was choosing his attitude and having a great time. He got more excited when people asked questions, and he was able to share new knowledge. Here was a big smile for me that put a smile on his face. After what we were done with his part of the show, I went and asked him. I said, clearly you enjoy what you're doing, and what makes you smile? And he just got a big smile on his face, and he goes, I've never been asked that before. And he goes, but I love the question. He goes, literally in my job, I learn something and discover something new at least every couple days, sometimes every day. And he goes, who gets to do that? And he said, also, I am super excited. My next adventure is going to be in Antarctica, which he is really, really excited. And you could just feel the energy, which was cool. From the Pluto astrograph, we went to the Geodale observation deck, and it was so neat to see it before and after. This was when we were walking to the Pluto astrograph, and it was covering all of the telescopes and all of the electronic and technology equipment to protect it, and it slides from right to left to expose it. So then when we came out, it looked like this, and it was just like a whole different world, and super friendly and welcoming. Families just loved this, to see different aspects. They had a number of scientists asking that were there to answer our questions we were asking, and getting to look in the telescope was very, very cool, and seeing just all sorts of new things.
Looking at Venus. I need to check It's different for everybody. Try not to hold on to it just because it'll stop track. Oh, sorry. You're good. Happens all the time.
Like sunrise and sunsets for the solstices. So sunrise for each one, sunset for each one. It's really cool.
Mid-afternoon, we went to our hotel and came back after dark, and you can see the path that had the glow-in-the-dark speckles on it as we walked up to the observatory. And now look at the sky and everything at night using the same equipment and listening to scientists.
Until it gets big enough to actually ignite into a star. And so eventually, all the gas will just be used up. And that's it. Yeah. And then you'll be left behind with a star cluster, kind of like, if you can see kind of straight up, just that super bright dot next to the moon is Jupiter. Whoa! Great timing! What was it? I hope everyone was watching because I will not be doing that again. This is basically all hydrogen across here, and this is a couple dozen light years. So call it like 24 to 30 light years across is how much gas is here.
Wow.
And that's how much stuff you need to make stars. Wow. So yeah, we're not making a star on Earth anytime soon.
This is the rooftop observatory that we're going to come back at night. Heated seats, nothing obstructing your view, and the stars and constellations were amazing, just breathtaking, and so many ooh-ahs happening. So in summary, we both loved the Lowell Observatory. The only thing that worked against us was it was nearing full moon, so that moon got in the way of seeing the constellations, which means we just have to get back. As I said earlier, all of the descriptions are below, and it put smiles on our face, and it was so fun to listen to everybody enjoying it, families young and old, and asking all sorts of questions, because it's fun to learn. I'd love to hear what you thought of the observatory and any stargazing recommendations, because we are kind of geeks and really, really like it a lot. Thanks for making this far. Truly appreciate it, and always keep smiling.
Smiling days we all can share.